Hola amigos and welcome to Charlatan Chakshu. Today we will have a look at the top 5 fastest boats in the world. So let us begin with number 5. And at number 5 we have the South Bay's Tooned-In 2. The record holded by this boat is of the fastest pontoon boat. The power plant of this boat is made by 3 Mercury Pro Max 300X engines and the power is of about 1000 horsepower. The pilot who made the record is Brad Rowland and he made the record in 2013. The record speed of this boat is 184 kilometers per hour. Moving on to number 4, and at number 4 is the Mystic Power Boat's Spirit of Qatar. The record holded by this boat is of the fastest catamaran. The power plant is made by 2 Lycoming turbines and the power is of about 9000 horsepower. The pilot who made the record is Sheikh Hassan bin Jabor Al Thani and he did it in 2014. The record speed for this boat is of 393 km per hour. Moving on to number 3, and at number 3 is the Eddie Knox Racing Problem Child. The record holded by this boat is of the fastest top fuel hydroplane. The power plant is Chrysler Humvee V8 gasoline engine and the power is 8000 horsepower. The pilot who made the record is Daryl Ehrlich and he did it in 2014. The record speed of this boat is of 422 km per hour. Moving on to number 2, and at number 2 is Bluebird K7, which was originally manufactured by Salisbury Engineering, which is now BAE Systems. The record holded by this boat is of the fastest hydroplane. The power plant is made by Metropolitan Vickers Barrel turbojet engine and the thrust generated is about 16 kN. The pilot who made the record was Donald Campbell and he did it in 1964. The record speed holded by this boat is of 445 kilometers per hour. Finally, let us have a look at the fastest boat that ever existed in the world. And at number 1 we have Spirit of Australia. And generally I put on a logo of the manufacturer of the boat, and in the case of this particular boat it was made by this man. The record holded by this boat is of the fastest speed boat. The power plant was made by Westinghouse J34 jet engine, and the thrust generated was about 15 kilonewton. The pilot who made the record is actually the person who built the boat and is Ken Warby, and he did it in 1978. The record speed achieved by this boat is of 511 kilometers per hour or 318 miles per hour or 276 knots. So here you can have a look at Ken Warby and his son. They are currently remanufacturing the boat, and they will try to attempt to break the record that Ken Warby made years ago. Thank you guys for watching. Do like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. Do consider to have a look at the whole series called Fastest. Chakshu, over and out.